Hello. It's week 54 in Intuitive Momentum Fitness, and we're talking about the little things. So the little habits, the little adjustments in our routines, in our approach, in our way of life, and aligning things up with our goals. So, actually, I want to start with something I was planning on saving for the end, but as I've been writing my book, I've been working on different aspects of the book and kind of finishing that up, and writing about the process of positive life change and what that looks like, and it's really just being able to repeat these patterns. So first, hold a vision of what you want and allow yourself to get obsessed with your desires. So you can't get someplace new without knowing where you want to be, where you want to go. And I love the analogy of a ship leaving the harbor. It's obviously not going to get anywhere significant if it doesn't know where it needs to go. So you have to have a heading, you have to know where you want to go. And then the second step is to build the habits that will remake you into the new you. So know what you want, and then what does that new version of you need to be doing? So obviously, if you want to be stronger, you need to lift heavy things. If you want to be faster, you need to be moving. If you want to be healthier, then you're going to be eating nutrient-dense foods, breathing deeply, drinking lots of good water, getting good rest, thinking positive, upbeat thoughts, all the little things. So establishing these small habits, whatever you're capable of doing in the moment, establish those habits. And then number 3, embrace being uncomfortable as you are unmade and remade in new ways of being and thinking. And this one is huge, and I believe this is where most people get stuck. So when they have a New Year's resolution, or they, try for the 57th time to get fit or get healthy or whatever, this is such a big area where they are doing the work, they are practicing these new habits that will help them get to where they need to be, but they start feeling uncomfortable and unfamiliar with who they're being in the moment. And that is a huge aspect of positive life change, is that kind of losing your bearing, losing touch with where you are, and not feeling like yourself anymore. So that's a huge thing, is that being okay with being uncomfortable, being okay with being unfamiliar with yourself, being okay with being a stranger to yourself because you're not behaving in ways that you're used to behaving. So that's number 3. Embrace being uncomfortable as you are unmade and remade in new ways of being and thinking. And then number 4, have compassion on yourself and honor your needs while holding to your goals. So there's a lot of talk in the fitness world and in the self-help world about self-control and discipline and, just sticking to it, doing the things that you need to do. And self-control, yes, if it works, it's good. But self-control doesn't always work. And what has been found is that self-compassion is actually more effective than self-control. And that may seem really what's the word? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not intuitive. It doesn't, maybe it's kind of weak. But self-compassion is actually, has been found to be more effective than self-control. Because if you can, if you mess up and someone berates you for 10 minutes, that's probably not going to be as effective as someone putting their arms around you and saying, hey, let's look at how things have been going. I know it's been rough for you. It's okay. I know that you're better than this, and this is not surprising, and we can fix this, and we can move forward. And if we can share that compassion with ourselves, then that is going to just allow you the freedom to be to move forward, to adjust, to make the changes that you need to make in your routine. So as you're making these positive life changes, as it's overwhelming, running through the list again real quick, hold the vision of what you want. So you have to know where you're going. Build the habits that will bring you to the new you. Embrace being uncomfortable as you are unmade and remade. Have compassion on yourself along the way and honor your needs while holding to your goals. So the self-compassion also ties into the intuitive aspect, because if you find yourself continually failing, whether that's at nutrition or at fitness or some other, positive life change goal, then maybe something's not working for you in the way that you've set up your new routines and the way that you're attempting to make these changes. So take that into consideration. Look at your body, look at your emotional needs. Logically, it may seem like this shouldn't be a big deal. This should be totally okay. I shouldn't have a problem with this. But obviously there may be a problem. And that is okay. So take yourself off the hook. Don't immediately jump to self-accusation or feeling lazy or irresponsible or undisciplined or all those things. Maybe it's just there is too much going on and you're not giving yourself enough credit at the moment. So what can you do? What adjustments can you make to give yourself a break, give yourself a hand, make something a little bit easier for you in any way that you need? Be open to the possibilities of that. And then number 5, as you reform into your new self and this becomes your updated comfort zone, celebrate and revel in your growth and expansion. So when you hit those moments where it's like, wow, I'm eating really well, or wow, I've been really consistent in workouts and it's not really a challenge for me to remember to do it. It's an automatic thing now. Celebrate that. Be proud of yourself. Do something to kind of mark the occasion and the accomplishment that you've achieved. And then number 6, stay in tune with your heart and be ready to repeat the cycle as you have new urges for expansion. So actually so Nadia, I just saw your comment, and let me see if I can paste this into let me see if I can paste it into the group, if not under the video. So yeah, let me see if I can do that. All right. So just a second. Okay, I see this. Okay, I'm also seeing comments that are not showing up on my phone. So, yeah, cool. All right, let me fix this one. It didn't transfer the numbers at the beginning of each sentence. So glad you guys are here. Hello, by the way, to everyone that was saying hello. So almost there. Okay, so that should show up in the comments there for you. So save that. That is kind of through the last 19 years for me. This is the pattern that I've seen in my own positive life change. So. So holding the vision of what you want, knowing what you want, allowing yourself to get obsessed with it, build the habits that will remake you into the new version of you. Embrace being uncomfortable as you are unmade and remade in the new ways of being. Have compassion on yourself and honor your needs. That's the intuitive part. Honor your needs while holding to your goals. So don't just give up on the new routine just because it's something about it is not working. So like you still want to reach your goals, but you need to honor yourself along the way as well. So how do you adjust those things as you move forward? And then as you reform into a new self, and this becomes your updated comfort zone, celebrate and revel in your growth and expansion. And then stay in tune with your heart, ready to repeat the cycle with new urges for expansion. So it's a constant thing. You're constantly going through this list. So, yeah, so Lori, let me know what's going on for you. Let's see. All right. Okay, cool. So, so for me, like I wanted to share an update, like how I'm doing with my workouts. Just hit the wrong button. Okay. So I'm glad you're not devastated by anything. So I am, oh, okay, wrist guard. Yep, that's tricky. It wants to jump in the conversation. So it was interesting because like a week ago, I started just feeling really sore, and it wasn't just like typical muscle soreness, because over the last 19 years, I've been at the place most of that time where I feel most comfortable being sore somewhere in my body. Like I'm expecting to feel sore somewhere because I'm constantly rotating through muscle groups and working them out. And so if I'm not sore anywhere, then I feel like, uh-oh, what's wrong? And it just like something feels off. So I love being sore. I love that feeling of my muscles constantly being in recovery and rebuilding, getting stronger. And about a week ago, I was feeling in my knees and in my right elbow just this achiness in the tendons. So I think between pickleball and volleyball and weightlifting and massages, I was doing too much. And so I decided, I want to just do something really easy for a little bit. So I've just been doing kind of a full body workout that is just one max muscle group, or one max set per muscle group, and just like super simple, not expecting to get stronger from it, but just like not going to get sore from it either, just to help recover. So I've been doing that for a little over a week, and it's been really good. And I've been thinking about, how long do I want to do that before kind of getting back to something I'm used to, a little more used to. So that's where I'm at. I feel like I've just kind of been goofing around with my workouts. And it's totally okay to do that sometimes. It's totally okay to, just be, keep it really simple. And then with my food, it's interesting because I've been working with Hannah again, and I got these new supplements that are really nutrient dense, and had her test them. She does this, the applied kinesiology testing, and she figured out that some of the supplements I was taking was too nutrient dense. And that's something that like you don't really think about too much. I don't really think about that too much. But my body was getting worn out trying to process all the nutrients that were in some of the supplements that I had. So I made some adjustments, but yeah, most of the American population or countries that do eat American style food, standard American diet, the SAD diet, are not getting enough nutrition. And so they're overfed because their body is looking for more nutrition and still undernourished. And so some of the things I've been taking have been the opposite of that. So that's really strange, really interesting. So that's kind of an interesting update on my own nutrition journey. But then, other than that, I'm really excited. I looked back at some of my attempts to lean out in the past. And in the past, my most successful attempts, my waist at, a flex, trying to be as thin as possible and measuring it, because the waist is hard to measure because there's so much in there. So I tighten my muscles down to kind of get more of a standard comparison. And so with that, now my waist is 2 inches smaller and I'm 10 pounds heavier than the leanest that I was in the past. So that's super encouraging. So 2 inches smaller in the waist, 10 pounds heavier in my body means that I have more muscle than I had before when I was really lean, and I'm leaner than I was before when I was really lean. So other than that, everything else with my nutrition is going really well, other than getting too much nutrition, according to Hannah. So that's a little update from me. So what I shared on Monday was this little meme of different ways to increase natural chemicals in your body. So serotonin, dopamine, oxygen, endorphins. And under serotonin, there's listening to music, meditating, walking in nature, writing or journaling, sun exposure. Under dopamine is self-care, completing tasks, eating good food, celebrating wins, getting enough sleep. And then boosting oxygen looks like hugging a loved one, kissing, deep conversations, playing with animals, giving compliments. And boosting endorphins is through laughing, exercise, chocolate, spicy food, and physical touch. So in my journey, I have been a collector of the small habits that I know are doing positive things in my life. And the reason I cherish that so much is because I literally, hey Danielle, glad you're here. I literally could not do the big things, and the big things were setting me back. So I became a collector of the tiny habits. What are the tiny little things I could do? Like making sure I drank enough water. Okay, I can totally do that. And actually thinking of something that made me laugh. I could do that. I could make someone else laugh. That's good for my health. So all these little things, smiling at someone, saying hi, taking a short nap when you need to, if you can, going for a walk outside, getting some sun, getting some fresh air, getting some movement, all of the little things. I wanted to give myself as much of a chance as I could in all the little ways. And it made a difference. It makes a difference. So what I shared before was some days it's all about the plan, sticking to it in a disciplined forward movement toward your goals. Other times it's about riding the waves that come along and finding all the little ways we can encourage and boost ourselves. And I asked, without making it right or wrong, where do you find yourself in this balance this week? Just share a sentence or two at least. So Monica says, I feel like finding the middle road is the constant quest. Yep. Not going too much one way or the other, but staying in a reasonable balanced spot. Nutrition-wise, I'm enjoying Trader Joe's blood orange cake a little too much. So I don't think I've ever had that, but I'm sure that would be challenging if you if you had it around to have that too much. So so that's a good example. On the one hand, you've got your goals, you know what's aligned with your goals, and then you've got this really feels like a good thing right now. So maybe having half of the bites that you would normally have to try to go in that in-between place, that finding that balance or something. But keep us posted how that goes. Curious what that's gonna look like for you. I know you've got some specific goals in mind. So thank you for sharing, Monica. And then Lori says, I've started rating my mornings as either A or B moods. If I'm A, I can plod along and get things done rather efficiently. If I'm B, I'm going to slow way down and aim to get only the top 1 or 2 priorities done. Today was a B day, and I somehow ended up 2 hours early for a hair appointment. I wanted to be sure I wasn't late, but I've cost myself some time that I could be working for my clients. So the answer to your question is, I'm too stressed out this week, looking forward to the live. So first, I love that you can recognize that you've got it categorized as an A mood morning or a B mood morning, and you know how to adjust to care for yourself. That's a perfect example of this process, and of self-compassion and making adjustments and being intuitive. So if it's an A morning, then you can go after your work and get things done efficiently. If it's a B morning, then you know that you're going to be struggling, so then you just prioritize the things that are most important in order to balance your goals. Your goals are take care of your clients and then also take care of you. Do it in an intuitive, self-loving, self-compassionate way. And so great job. I think the fact that you somehow ended up 2 hours early for your hair appointment was probably your body's way of making sure that you took care of yourself a little bit and you took a little bit extra rest. So it sounds like if everything went according to plan, you did take care of all of the most important things that you needed to do before your hair appointment, and then your body kind of like psyched you into going early when you didn't really need to, but because you needed to rest. So there was this one time, and I like waking up late or sleeping through an alarm is like has been, at least in the past, a worst nightmare type of situation for me. But there was this one time when I was supposed to get up early, drive 2 hours to this training for my work quite a few years ago, and I woke up with no alarm, and I checked, and I had set it, and somehow I must have turned it off while it was going and just stayed asleep. And I never do that. I never use the snooze button. I've just never been that kind of person. So my only assumption was that my body knew I needed the sleep, and it kind of sabotaged me to make sure that I got the sleep that I was needing. And everything worked out. I like had a major panic attack, but everything worked out fine the rest of the day. I was able to do the training later. I just went into work like normal that day, and yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, sometimes I feel like our body just chooses it's going to sabotage us and make sure that we get the rest or some kind of accommodation that we need. So life can work itself out that way for us sometimes. So Kimberly says, I'm trying for a little bit of all of these. For the oxytocin, I'm grateful for my kitty. God knew I needed him. Such a snuggle bunny. Yeah, it's amazing the personalities of dogs and cats and actual bunnies. They have such different personalities. I think that being in tune with that, sometimes when you get a pet, is really powerful, because then you end up with this companion that is what you need a lot of times. So the fact, Kimberly, that your cat is so snuggly is just like perfect. Like he needed you and you needed him. So that's awesome. Boosting the good feeling chemicals. And then Danielle says, sun exposure is easy. That's awesome. You live in a great place for sun exposure. So that's good. All the vitamin D. In Oregon, it can be challenging certain weeks to get enough vitamin D. I give big hugs to my kids every day, love my dog, and chocolate. So yeah, chocolate is amazing. It's potent. So, yeah, if there are any questions right now, hopefully they actually come through. But if you have questions, I would love to see that. Um, so, yeah, pop in with anything that you have to say. I'm going to make sure that I am not missing any questions by going uh, to this on my laptop. Let's see here. Looks like I'm getting most of the most recent ones. So yeah, the one piece, so kind of going back to the process of positive life change, the self-compassion part is how you balance reaching for your goals and honoring your needs along the way. Because self-discipline is only focused on the goals, reaching the goals. And sometimes at certain moments and for some personalities, that is important. And you can make that happen. But ultimately, it's so important to be in tune with yourself. And if you're too in tune with yourself, it can become self-indulgence or self-pity, and you don't get anything done. You don't move toward the goals that you want. So self-compassion is where I feel like that balance is struck between continuing to move toward your goals and then having making allowance and having grace for where you're at, making adjustments, getting feedback from your body, listening to your body, adjusting to what is needed, and moving toward your goals in ways that honor you. Okay, so when stressed, which hormone do you think is most valuable? Danielle's asking. So I'm assuming you're asking between the four that was listed. So yeah. So that's an interesting question. I don't like if you have the opportunity to to boost any of these, I think all of them, like the ones that you're most able to boost is going to be good. Endorphins are good for stress. So laughing, exercise, chocolate, spicy food, physical touch. But if you don't have access to some of those, or you're just not in the space for some of those, or like you've talked about the last few weeks of just kind of being under too much stress and like not even being able to exercise and get those endorphins, then getting some oxytocin, the love drug, whether that's giving your kids a hug or playing with your dog, giving someone a compliment. So with your kids and getting ready to move and like all the chaos in your life, I don't know whether you would be able to enjoy like a hot bath or some other kind of self-care, but like try to just kind of look at the list and look at what may be possible. Like dopamine you could boost by completing tasks. I know you have a lot of tasks on your plate all the time, so maybe part of the end of the day or even throughout the day, if you have a journal or someplace that you do journal, then maybe just like put down everything you did and just spend some time being in awe of how awesome you are and everything you got accomplished, so you could kind of boost the dopamine a little bit. Because completing tasks and celebrating wins are both boost dopamine. So, and I don't know how often you get enough sleep, but you may have to rely on the completing tasks and celebrating wins to boost dopamine when you don't get enough sleep. And then serotonin, listening to music. Hopefully you get a chance to listen to music. Walks in nature. I know you've got a nice backyard. So, and then sun exposure. So that's a good one. That's a easy one. So yeah, just kind of like, I feel like this is similar to any positive life change, any positive habits that you're wanting to establish. Do the things that are the easiest for you to do, and don't limit yourself. Just like for me, some days, depending on how crazy busy it is, and maybe I get behind on my water, maybe I didn't get a chance to work out. That's not very often because I like make sure it's such a priority. But maybe I don't get outside or whatever. Like all the things could go wrong, but I will remember I can take deep breaths because my lungs are always with me. They're always working. I can take a deep breath at any moment and give my body an extra charge of oxygen. So that may be like the one thing that I'm able to do throughout the day. And that's what I do. So yeah, definitely keep the list with you. Try to get as many of those things checked off as you can throughout the day, and then celebrate that. Complete those tasks and celebrate doing those things throughout the day. So as always, I am here for you guys. Please post in the group if you have any questions or you think of anything. Send me a direct message if it's a little more sensitive and you want to just communicate with me privately about it. So hope you're doing well. Love you. Proud of you. Talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your week.